All right, I'm going to tag team my co-host in right now, and with the power of editing, this will be seamless. Shazam!
As a director and as a writer and as somebody who's obviously, the impression I get is you're a scrappy filmmaker who gets in there and gets his hands dirty. I mean, you filmed this in your own fucking house. How does it feel when you're watching this with an audience in Montreal that's getting all the beats, that's gasping, that's terrified by Baba Black Sheep backwards?
They were scared, they were excited, they were moved.
It must feel pretty good.
I wasn't watching the movie, I was just watching everybody.
Yeah, well, of course.
I know what my movie does. What do the people think?
right. Did look like we were on a ride, all
Exactly.
of us.
Yeah, I mean, this is the first time a lot of people here have seen it.
Yeah.
The crew, the cast, Nina hadn't seen it yet either. So this was like a real litmus test to see if it worked.
Right.
Because, we've seen it a million times.
Well, Cody was mentioning to me before that he was there like really like right in there at the beginning.
Yeah, and then they're right to the end, too. So it was,
Funny, the dipping in and out, because I was there at the begining and with Dan and Ian really working on the script. And then I actually got to dip out for most of the shoot.
Right.
Because my wife was pregnant.
Right.
And then I came back right at post started. So it was good. It was like a back and forth. It was great.
You mentioned this was your first time seeing the finished product. Were you proud being able to watch this in front of a bunch of people? And like Ian mentioned, when he watched it, he wasn't watching the movie, he was watching everybody's reaction. Were you kind of doing a bit of both?
Well, I was just more like, watching yourself is really embarrassing in any situation. But I was really proud. And also I was surprised because there are so many versions. The version of the movie that I shot is so different than the version that we just watched.
Yeah.
And so it was nice to be like pleasantly surprised.
Yeah.
And also to be in like the energy of everybody watching it for the first time. It just kind of felt. And then towards the end, I was like, whoa, nobody's moving.
Yeah.
And I was like, and I'm at the end of my seat. So it was nice to be able to, experience it like as an audience member and just let go of, there's nothing else I can change, right?
Yeah.
So it's nice to just let go and enjoy it, especially because I'm watching it for the first time.
Okay, you guys have seen every horror film under the sun, I'm sure, but when you have a movie like this that kind of moves in a certain way, even going to the Dutch tilts in the middle, I thought that was a very cool, fresh take. How did you feel during the production of this where you're like, I think this is not just going to be another horror film, I think this is going to be something else for the audience?
That's a great question. I mean, this was a very different script. You don't get to see something where you're like, wow, there's one room and they're listening so much. I mean, it's either all dialogue or zero dialogue. So I think we just leaned into that. We let room for a lot of space, a lot of quiet, a lot of time for our audience to go along with the story. We had to give our audience a lot of credit to keep up with it. And I just think we tried to get as close to Ian's vision as in what he wrote in the script.
During the Q&A, you mentioned that you had gone through some stuff personally with your parents, with your own alcoholism, and then you mentioned, like, but without getting too personal, were you...
When I got personal, that's when this script happened.
Right. So obviously this was a lot of you getting stuff out.
Right. And when I started doing that, and just being honest, then everyone started coming on board.
Right.
Because then the story got good, right?
Right. Yeah.
I wasn't trying to,
Was it therapeutic for you?
It really was.
I really believe that Ian has something special.
Yeah.
He seems like a really interesting guy. He seems like he has a lot more stories to tell. Is he the kind of guy that you want to keep your I don't want to say keep your finger on, but is he the kind of guy you want to keep tabs on to see what he's going to be doing in the future?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, we're already talking about kind of what he's doing next. The cool thing with Ian is, like, I feel like when you do movies like this so long, you end up in boxes.
Yeah.
And Ian comes at everything without even any idea what the box is. So some of the guys are there like, we can't do that.
Yeah.
But most of them come, Dan will like filter through, or I'll filter through to figure out kind of what that means. But it's really cool working with somebody who's like kind of unhinged creatively.
Yeah.
Which is awesome.
Oh, he is. Yeah. Like, he's totally like, he to me, it seems like the kind of guy that's going to come to you with a crazy idea and he'll break the ceiling and you have to pull him back.
Yeah.
Rather than not being able to hit the ceiling.
Yeah, he's also a guy that, he's very open to collaboration. He listens to everybody. He gives everybody the time.
Yeah.
And then you'll say, hey, what about if we do this? And he'll go, no, not that.
Okay.
Definitely not that. And he has it all really figured out in his head. I think most of my job was keeping tabs on Ian. So yes, we'll continue to do so. And I think this is just the beginning this is the first feature he's done. He's going to keep going for sure. So
Baba Black Sheep backwards. That's one of the most fucking terrifying things I've ever heard.
Right.
I was talking to one of the producers, Cody, and stuff about that. I want a file of that to hear that because I want to see how terrifying that is on its own. Don't, right? Is it going to summon something?
Yeah, like, you saw what happened.
What I loved about this movie was that you had to really, really play off, I don't know who. I mean, you were playing off yourself for a lot of the time. How challenging is that? Because you're literally, you're acting, obviously. Did you have someone prompting you while you were doing that? Okay, so you did have
honestly, it didn't feel like I was alone in that because we had a guy having with the voice of Justin, saying Justin's lines, and that was really helpful because it made the whole performance feel live and real every single time.
Yeah.
And then as for like the moments of like reactions and listening, honestly, like some of the scenes I was hearing it for the first time, truly, and I thought that the recordings were so good that they really did like deeply penetrate and like like elicit a response off of me. It was so nice because I felt so relaxed on the set because there was such a little amount of people that I could be very like receptive to things without so much noise happening around, if that makes sense. It's like
no, definitely.
It's just like a heightened sense, I think, of receptivity because of that.
And I have a question for you personally. Do you find what makes a better horror film, an amazing sound or amazing picture? Because I know horror films started off as silent pictures, but I think you can have the best looking movie in the world, but if no one can hear anything, people kind of check out.
I think kind of sound for anything, even like outside of the horror genre, the genres in general, it's like they're all based in sound, it feels like. Because again, it's like as cameras get crazier and crazier and crazier, it kind of doesn't matter what you shoot it on if it's a good story. And and the sound's good. I would put it first,
This one especially.
Yeah, 100%.
This one is a trial in what sound can do to an audience, more than any movie I've worked on. So,
being someone who podcasts a lot, there is something special that happens when you put the cans on, and it's like you're in this world.
Yes.
And it's crazy because you capture that vibe. Like, my podcast partner and I, we talk to people all the time, and I podcast out of my house. So when I put those headphones on, the entire world is shut off. I'm locked in. I'm talking to but sometimes I take them off and I'm like, what's been going on here? And then my wife will be like, well, the dogs were going crazy and like Amazon showed up. Did you have any experience yourself with podcasting? Or
I had a little bit. I used to do radio actually when I was in university, and I really enjoyed that. And also before the film, I just started listening to podcasts where there was two people like co-hosts.
Yeah.
And it's so interesting how so many podcasts have that similar dynamic between hosts where one person has one belief, another person, and then it's the whole thing becomes about them kind of going at each other in a different way. Yeah. And I really liked having that with Justin because it just colored the scenes more in a way that made it more interesting. And
the podcasting medium is kind of a modern representation of the old-timey spooky radio shows. Sure. So, and those had people like waiting by the candle and the fire and whatever the hell you guys were doing in the 40s.
You pointed to the youngest person here.
I know. No, I was pointing to the internet. And anyway, but it's kind of interesting that people could hang on by what they hear. Do you have any particularly podcasts that you guys like in the horror genre that you listen to and try to scare yourself silly?
Oh man, that is definitely a question I'm going to be ready for next time because it's a good one. I think it's more, looking back to even War of the Worlds, and there's this one play that I love that was people listening to that and coming together because the town actually believed it was happening. So I think it was going back to a time where if you let people listen to something, their imagination can take it to a place that we definitely, one, couldn't afford to do, and two, could make it scary as what they have in their head.
I'd be remiss without asking you, Handmaid's Tale, what was that like?
Because
I have just that experience, like working on Margaret Atwood's, like it's a tour de force. It's such a beloved show. There's so much so much going on. There's so many messages that are happening. It's so, on the nose for what's going on in the world today. What was it like to be a part of that universe?
So aligned. Like I felt so aligned with who I am, what I've always wanted, what I've always looked up to, what I've always just like dreamed of doing in terms of storytelling.
Yeah.
Some of those people are now like my closest friends. I was just bridesmaid at one of the handmaids' weddings.
Oh, amazing.
Like 2 weeks ago.
Okay.
And so in terms of like personal life, it was amazing. In terms of like, the direction, it felt so similar to like the way that I think and what I wish for in my career, and also just my interests and political interests as well.
Yeah.
And it was like one of the most amazing experiences.
Yeah, it must have been.
Yeah,
It
yeah.
looked like it was. Cool. Ryan's going to ask you a question real quick.
Okay.
All right, I have a question. What is a Handmaid's Tale exactly? Kidding. What? I have a question. In the podcast dynamic you have in this movie, you are kind of the Scully and he is the Mulder. He will believe anything and you're skeptical of everything. In real life, are you skeptical or are you willing to believe any crazy stuff?
Yeah, do you want to know how skeptical I am?
I want to know how skeptical you
So,
are.
like, I'm just realistic, I guess.
Yes.
Like, when I decided to pursue acting full-time,
Uh-huh.
I had already been acting for a few years since I was a teenager.
Yes.
And I was just thinking, like, why should I be an actor? Like, there's just too many people. Like, it just seems too... The odds are just not in my favor, like, of working. And I'm so happy that I didn't listen to that skeptical side of me, because it's one of the only times I didn't.
Wow.
But otherwise, I'm very realistic and... I don't know if it's I don't know if I'm a skeptic, because I'm pretty open.
Yeah.
Like, as soon as someone says something, I'm not going to, like, shut it down. And I want to receive what people believe. I just want to be able to witness that and receive it. So I wouldn't say skeptical, but maybe just realistic.
Scully, are you saying you want to believe?
I do.
Yeah. No, I don't want that happening. Congratulations, man. It's a great feature, and continued success. And I hope we hear more from you, because you're a great new voice in cinema.
Thank you.